Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome one and all. Uh okay, yeah, I'll do it like that. Maybe I'll change that background. Yeah, there we go. That looks better. Or red. Huh? Or the no, I think red is good for the holiday. Okay, let me see here. Let me see who was here first. Catherine Bryan, thank you so much for being here first. There are no prizes, but I'm impressed. I am very, very impressed. Okay, let me grab my slides and we're good. Hmm. Yep, that's it. Uh, Marvin Cotto, happy birthday. Many happy returns of the day. And happy birthday, Brenda Crane. Got another birthday. Wow, a couple of people that get cheated out of Christmas. Yeah, the closer your birthday is to Christmas, well, at least if your family celebrates Christmas, the closer it is to Christmas, you get a lot of here's your birthday and Christmas present. uh Connie Bowmer. Hey, Connie Bowmer. I have been practicing my yodel just in case I happen to go to Switzerland. I want to be able to yodel. Okay. Oh, slides are ready. Okay. There we go. I couldn't think of a title for tonight, so I just left it very simple. Royal Sussex. There we go. I thought I would go just very simple, do a little Christmas background, and do a very simple title. Just Royal Sussex Saturday Night Live. Sounds so original, doesn't it? Saturday Night Live. Okay. Oh, okay. Very good. No. All right. So we're all set then. Thank you so much for your patience. Okay. So there were 3 Byline Investigate articles that came out today. I haven't had a chance to look at any of them, but I think I'll work on that for tomorrow. Let me see if I can just take a peek at oh, you know what, let me close a couple of these screens I got open because and still, in spite of the fact that Byline Investigate had all of those big fat juicy articles to share, notice that the Daily Mail, the Sun, the Express, none of those rags decided that they would cover anything that had to do with those Byline Investigate articles. I don't. Did they ever mention anything about Dan Wooten, especially the Mail, because he wrote for the Mail? Um, I don't think so. I don't think so. Elaine Parker, thank you so much for the. Wait for the. Oh, there it is. Super sticker, and thank you so much for being here tonight. Okay, let me highlight you there. Perfection. Okay, let me see if I can grab just maybe one of those articles. Byline. Byline Times. Okay, that's it. Let me see, which one do I have up here? Just looking out of the window, watching the asphalt grow, wondering how it all looks every time. Keeping your head above water, making a way when you can, temporary layoffs, good times, easy credit ripoffs. Norman Lear changed the way that America looked at black families. I almost forgot to mention that. Well, I did forget to mention that the other day. But Norman Lear, who just passed away this week at 101 years old, it just, I grew up with that name, Norman Lear, um, as he was part and partially responsible for so many of those great shows like Sanford and Son, The Jeffersons, All in the Family, Maud. Um, Gosh, what else? Well, there's so many of them, too many to name. But yeah, first he gave us a window inside of actually gave America a window inside of the African American household. And then, um, even better, for the first time, we had rich black lead characters on television, you know? So, cheers to Norman Lear. Yeah, that was, and I have to tell you, it wasn't all, fun and games, or it wasn't always the joy that it seems like any other production and writers and actors, like anything else in Hollywood, there's a whole bunch of backstories. Like, for instance, I might as well say it. It's no slight on Norman Lear, but originally they wanted Esther Rose to be a single mother, and she refused. She's like, no, 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 no. If I'm going to play this part, I need a husband. You're not going to put me on television as the unwed black mother. So I don't know if that was an idea that Norman Lear was comfortable with, or, but, like I say, no slight upon him. It's not that important that that conversation needed to be had. What's important is they listened, right? Amen. What's important is that they listened. So I don't know what role he played in that or whatever, but Esther Rose said, "You won't single black mother me. I didn't grow up like that, so I'm not going to play it on TV." And that's spinal. And it only made sense because the character Florida Evans originally was on Maude. And when Florida Evans left Maude and went over to her own show, well, Henry Evans, which was the character played by John Amos, became James Evans. So when Florida was on Maud, James Evans actually was not his name. It was Henry, her husband Henry. So they changed the name. And of course, the character was the same, but there was no Maud for Florida Evans' past life when she had her own show, when the character was on its own show. So that's not so unusual. Sometimes they don't want the storyline to be the same. They just want the character, the name and all. So that was kind of weird. All right. Let's see here. Celia Ohashi, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you so much for being here. And Connie Balmer, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you so much for being here. Greatly appreciate it, you both. And Connie Balmer, thank you for being a member of Royal Sussex. Let's see. Norman was on Finding Your Roots. He told Dr. Gates he was 100% his own father. It's certainly sad, and what they reveal about his own father was just as sad. He told Dr. Gates he was 100% his own father. Really? I haven't seen that one. I'm going to have to check that one out. Thank you, Sarah Turner. I'm going to have to check that one out. But yeah, I love a good Hollywood backstory. That's one of my favorite things is a good Hollywood backstory. It doesn't have to be so salacious. I don't need to know all of I'm not there to be a voyeur into some of the sadder storylines, like who was getting high and all that stuff. I just like to know how stuff came together. It's not important to me that somebody's life was a disaster. I'm not there to feed on that, but I just love to know how the scripts came together, the storyline, how they, recruited these actors for the role. All of that is very interesting to me. Just like finding out how you build a house or how you make a cake. Same thing. Just want to see how it's made. All of those creative minds coming together for one cause, like a symphony orchestra. Everybody is playing their role, and everybody's got a job to do. So very interesting. Okay, so cheers to Norman Lear, 101 years old. Incredible. Okay, so back over here. So I did find one of the articles. So let me just start this a little bit, if you don't mind. I revealed the emails behind the Royal Cash for Leaks affair. Cash for Leaks. I was about to say Cash for Honors. Detailed but anonymous testimony from insider at the Sun sat at the heart of the Cash for Leaks allegation involving royal official and newspaper's former top editor, Dan Wooten. Now, Byline Times can publish the details for the first time. Excuse me. Let's see here. So I'm going to scroll down a bit. It says a series of anonymous emails blowing the whistle on payments by the Sun to the partner of a senior royal aide were written by three former colleagues of the controversial journalist Dan Wooten. A Byline Times investigation can reveal this paper has received credible intelligence to suggest that the three worked together to inform on the Murdoch tabloid former executive editor as they feared a cover up by the publisher News UK if they did not. To protect themselves from exposure, the colleagues went to extraordinary lengths to cover their tracks after reaching out to Scotland Yard, Buckingham Palace lawyers, and retired Guardian journalist Nick Davies. Byline Times will not be identifying them as a matter of journalistic source protection. However, it can be revealed how they presented themselves as being a temporary worker and a friend of a junior News UK administrator with access to the Sun's editorial payment system. They acted following the publication of two series about the Duke and Duchess of Sussex and their son Archie in June and July 2019. The subsequent discovery of payments totaling £4,000 to a publicist whose partner is William's former press officer, Christian Jones. We all know about Christian Jones. Um, yeah, so that's what that one is about. So tell you what I'm going to do. Since you guys seem to like when I take those articles and put them into a video form, I will do that, all three of them, in the next 3 days, perhaps. If you guys want, I will do that. And yeah, it might make it easier for some of you guys. So I will do that. I actually enjoy doing those articles. So since I've started so many of them, I may as well continue with the next ones coming up. So I will do those three. So there's this one, and then in plain sight. This is, I guess, it's an update to that article. So let me give you just a little sample of that one, if you like. Let me see here. In plain sight. That sounds so interesting, doesn't it? Oh, okay. All right. So in plain sight, the picture the Palace probe missed. In 2020, Simon Case was tasked to investigate payments from Dan Wooten and the son to the partner of a royal press officer, allegedly for information about Prince Harry and Meghan. He found there was no evidence of wrongdoing, but Byline Times can shed further light. Now, just hearing myself saying Simon Case was tasked to investigate payments from Dan Wooten, this is okay. I'm so sorry. I am being neglectful. Let me grab those images just in case you're new to the Sussex Squad and you have no idea who we're talking about. Um, I want you to see their smug little faces. So give me just a second to do that. Because it's not really good to mention them and not show you their smug, pathetic faces. So let me do this one. There we go. Won't take but a second. Oh no, that wouldn't be there. Wait, give me a second here. Yes, that makes it easier. Okay. So I will do that. And wait, no, okay. This one. Does that work? Nope. Try something else. Nobody help me. I got this. And that didn't work. Okay, let me try this then. Oh, no wonder. Sorry, you guys. I got it. I'm defeating myself. And okay, got it. All right. Jason Knopf. Okay, so here are those three. Okay, so in order of appearance, that is Jason Knopf, Simon Case. No, I'm sorry, Jason Knopf. Kristen Jones is in the center, and then that's Simon Case on the far right side. Okay, and not that I should bother, but just in case anybody has forgotten exactly. Well, Dan Wooten's in that photo there, so don't need to do that one. Okay. All right, so there you go. So Jason Knopf went to school with Dan Wooten, right? And for a long time, I thought that was the connection right there. But it seems as though Christian Jones has a partner who is in publishing or PR or something like that. And it seems as though the case is being made, or the allegations are, that I'm sorry, not why do I keep saying Simon? Christian Jones and his partner, somehow they managed to fill the coffers of their bank account or whatever with some 4,000 pounds, and that information was leaked on our Duchess. Now, as far as Christian Jones is concerned, Christian Jones, you may remember him as the one that they wrote that terrible article where they said Harry had better watch out, because people are wondering who the heartthrob is that Meghan Markle went to lunch with. And it was one of the few times when the paparazzi managed to get a hold of Meghan, right? Oh, isn't that something? Oh, I got to show you this. I got to show you this. Take a look at this. Anyway, so after all of that heat, eventually Prince William's private secretary, Christian Jones, quits after 10 months. Christian Jones could be called to give evidence in Meghan Markle's lawsuit against the Associated newspaper. That Christian Jones. So these three people, I will allege, seem to all have been working against Harry and Meghan, as well as that rogue element in the press called Dan Wooten, who could not stand Prince William, did not like Prince William. But then all of a sudden, I would say, under the request of the Sun newspaper, he started going after the Sussexes. Now, remember, Dan Wooten was supposed to be like the entertainment reporter, making people's lives miserable, like Carolyn Flack. Then eventually, he began to speak more about royals and less about the entertainment. And then, as doors were closing and as his life was crashing down around him, he ends up on GB News, where he turned into this almost like Tucker Carlson right wing political hack. So he has reinvented himself several times. Not that he came back a different person, but just in a different role, which was very awkward. So those are the three right there. And just so you know, Jason Knopf, who's on the left side. Some people say Knopf, but I always say Jason Knopf. Jason Knopf is from Texas, and somehow he wound up at the University of whatever it is in New Zealand. And then from there, he goes to Britain, where he works at what bank? Bank of Scotland, was it? And yeah, and then eventually he was called to Kensington Palace, and also he was on the honors list last year. The honors list, there's one of the honors, or some of the honors, maybe one or more of them every year, are chosen by the royal family. And for his service to William, Jason was awarded one of those trinkets from William, actually, was the one who presented it to him. This is the same one who seemed to have been conspiring against William's brother and sister-in-law. That's the one that William publicly and shamelessly awarded one of those MBEs, OBEs, or whatever it is. I mean, it's just awful. It is just awful. This story, the whole thing, the whole way the Sussexes was treated, I promise you that if there was ever an American news source, agency rather, that decided to take on this story, but they won't do that because they have such a cozy relationship. it makes money for them to talk about the royal family. So any coverage of the royal family, weddings, funerals, that's always big money for the networks. Not as big as it used to be, not as important as it used to be, but um, they still want that access. So they will never report the truth about any of this stuff. They will just give you the typical pop culture talking points, uh, but none of them are ever going to take up this story. It won't come from the big networks in the US. Occasionally, you will get like a newspaper like the New York Times that will crap all over the royal family. But for the most part, it just does not seem to happen. And none of it makes a difference if you can't get enough eyes on the story. So that is a source of frustration for me, is that there's so much to uh, talk about, but not everybody's going to read the book. Not everyone's going to watch the documentary and so on. And the more that is known, the better safety, the more protection there is for Harry and Meghan, is to keep their story alive, and that helps to protect them from that very powerful institution, as well as the British media. They really do need protection from that family and from the media. Otherwise, unfortunately, it's just, they have themselves and a few powerful friends and the Sussex squad, and that's about it. But the institution, they can call upon other governments. They can call upon this government. It's a very unfair advantage, but you have to deal with the cards that have been dealt you, and that's okay. I would take a Sussex squad over any of those other entities any day of the week. Reba Henderson says Jason Knopf and Dan Wooten graduated the same year at a private school, so yes, they knew each other. They were placed there to sabotage Harry and especially Meghan. Yeah, yeah. They even hired. Let's see. The when Meghan was going through it, didn't they hire that black equerry to the queen so that there would be another face of color in the crowd whenever there was engagements? There would be this face of color. That person didn't last long in that position. It seems like as soon as Meghan left, he was done. When Meghan left, he left. And of course, you have the first black Lord Lieutenant of London, that the guy that wears the bow ties like Uncle Ben's rice. Um, he he seemed to have that role as a little window dressing. But yeah, what a terrible group of people. Louise Narciss, thank you so much for being here. Okay, just going back looking at a couple of your comments. Right. All right. So I think we can go on. Let me take those faces off of there. But yeah, um, uh, uh, Kristen Jones. It's very strange that Meghan goes to have lunch, and then the paparazzi, and this is while she was a working princess of the realm, the paparazzi snaps photos of Kristen Jones and Meghan leaving a restaurant. Now, as an effective leader, Meghan thought it best for them to go to lunch and get away from that very oppressive crowd of people at the Kensington Palace. You know what I'm saying? I thought that was shrewd on her behalf. If we are going to work together and if we're going to get to know each other, we probably need to get away from Kensington Palace. So they go to lunch, and then for some odd reason, there seemed to be a paparazzi there when they left snapping photos. And the next thing you know, there's this article saying that, oh, Harry better watch out. The new hunky sexy, whatever they called Christian Jones, uh, royal aide or secretary. Uh, Harry better watch out. He's sending hearts thumping, however it was worded. Um, that was just awful. I remember when that article came out, I was like, oh, I didn't know what to think of it. And on top of that, Meghan was pregnant at the time, and they're running this article making it seem like she's sneaking around behind Harry's back or or I don't or whatever. But that was so awful of them to do that. And it almost makes you think, and I don't have this information, I'm just speculating, but it almost makes you think that Christian Jones was under the table pecking away on his cell phone, telling everybody where they're having lunch so that the paparazzi could come and take the photo, right? And they said that when Harry and Meghan were working on a rough draft of their farewell Britain speech, when they were going to inform people that they were leaving official royal duty, that they were stepping down, once again, it seemed like as they were typing, um, Christian Jones allegedly was texting. That is so awful. You know, how does I know that there's room for career of advancement for any of these twisted individuals, but that's what you're comfortable with? That's what you do for a living? You make the life of a first-time mother, a geriatric pregnancy at that, a first time mother, you make things as unbearable as possible. You're part of a system that is trying to destroy a pregnant woman and her unborn child. And these three all played a role in it. And then asking Simon Case to investigate. I can't even say anything. I can't even say anything. It's so gruesome. And I get the feeling that it was all, um, reported to William, and that it was just a big laugh at the end of the day, like the end of a episode of one of those sitcoms. They all sit around and have a big laugh, and they come back next week for the next episode and the next episode. Opportunistic, young, white, empowered men. And Meghan doing her best to try to navigate all those things. I don't feel sorry for anybody in that institution. None of them, whether they worked there, whether they were born into it, or whether they married into it. Everybody that's over on that side of the ocean, I have no sympathy for them. None. We may not have mainstream media. However, we have social media We need to use it aggressively and plaster the byline article all over social media platforms, retweet, and let it trend. Here, here. Here, here. Yeah, and you know what? Cookies and cream, there's more people that get their news from social media than any of the legacy media. So they're just about gone anyway. Their days are numbered. The model that we use now when it comes to the media is shrinking by the day. So none of it is what it used to be. That's for sure. Just like television kind of ruined things for print newspapers, although the print newspapers survived until the internet came along. Well, the internet is slowly munching away at the legacy television. So they're getting their comeuppance. They are getting their comeuppance. All right. Let me get rid of those spaces. What an awful group of people. Did I even talk about this at all? Let me see. I didn't even get that far. It's the friendship of Prince William's former right-hand man, Simon Case, concluded simply didn't exist. And yet, here are one-time Royal Press Secretary Christian Jones and his publicist partner huddling together for an intimate celebratory photograph with cash for leaks journalist Dan Wooten. So Simon Case says that there is no link, there is no friendship, and yet this photo is like a smoking gun. This photo could have been taken in the grassy knoll. That's what it is. This is the Zapruder film of photos. And if you get that reference, you're old. But yeah, this is the Zapruder film, the Abraham Zapruder film of evidence right here. Right here, this photo. This is the smoking gun. This is the lone dark figure standing beneath the tree and behind the fence at the top of that grassy knoll. There you go, right there. You got Simon, I'm sorry, why do I keep saying Simon? You got Christian Jones, his partner, and Dan Wooten. But Simon Case says there's no relationship, that there's no there. Of course he said that. Of course he said that. Why wouldn't he say that? The occasion was Wooten's 35th birthday party in March of 2018. The location was the private terrace of a 1,675 pound a night suite at London's exclusive The Ned, the Hotel Ned. The guests were 20 incredible friends, in Wooten's own words, handpicked to enjoy his extensive largesse. The issue is that it was a friendship that when legal documents later named Christian Jones, he flatly denied. He flatly denied. Duh, I don't know Christian Jones. Christian Jones who? I don't know Christian Jones. There's no connection there. I don't know him. Well, explain this photo. You're with 20 of your closest, dearest, and most reliable friends, and yet there is Christian Jones right there in the group with his partner. And then, of course, it has been alleged that the 4,000 pound payment was made to those two, right? Also, it has been alleged that Christian Jones may have been responsible for leaking the information about the Sussexes leaving. And then what happens? Dan Wooten get the mother of all scoops when he reports that the Sussexes are leaving. Well, actually, he didn't report it first. The Sussexes had to uh, release a statement because Dan Wooten gave them 10 days. Dan Wooten gave a member of the royal family 10 days to tell it before I do. And then, of course, they had the whole exclusive about them leaving soon thereafter. So it was a big feather in the cap for Dan Wooten and devastating to the Sussexes because then there was this ongoing narrative for weeks. They blindsided the Queen. They didn't even tell the Queen, creating more apathy and hostility against the Sussexes. People were very angry at the Sussexes, which means that they were disappointed with Harry and they hated Meghan because if it wasn't for Meghan, he wouldn't have left, right? That's the story. And so those three people, apparently Simon Case, his job was to deny that there was a relationship between Christian Jones, his partner, and Dan Wooten. What a dirty business. You would think that the Sussexes were running for public office, but they're not. They're not running for public office. And this type of harassment, this is, oh, I could only compare that to oppositional research during a presidential election where things get really nasty. People running for the president, the Senate, even big town mayors, even little town mayors, things can get very, very ugly. But that only lasts until election day. After the election, people go back to running their business. They take a big step back away from the politics, and hopefully the candidate that loses the election will endorse, or should I say, will pledge to work with the winning candidate. They would pledge to work with them and support them. But in this instance, you got two people that are not running for public office, but they are being treated as though they are politicians. Meghan has been vetted like she was Hillary Clinton. They have been all in her business and couldn't find anything. They have tried to pay people, and there was no one willing to speak against her. But yet, Megan supposedly turned into this monster once she reached the royal family, as though she had been hiding this personality trait, which of course does not exist. But she's been hiding this monstrous personality trait for all these years, and it wasn't until she got to the royal family that she was discovered and found out. Right? Wrong, because it's a big lie. Nuthalando says seemingly these royal trinkets honors have long lost any meaning or value, seeing that they are reserved for shady and evil characters. You could say that again. You can say that again. That is so true. That they are given to people that have gone above and beyond the call of duty to destroy someone's life. Vinny Blair says, nowhere in Simon K's bio does it say he ever worked for the royal family. All his posted positions with government, even those that lasted a few months, what is he ashamed of? Maybe they asked him to omit any information about working for the royal family. There's nothing unusual about a royal household recruiting someone from government. That's not unusual. But that they are used to target a member of the family, I hope that that is not usual. I hope that's not something that's usual. However, I would have to assume that some of this same nonsense was used against Princess Diana. I'm sure she was targeted by people within the government. And then, of course, on the crown, it was implied that Prince Philip threatened her in so many words. That was uncomfortable to watch. Poor Diana. Poor Diana had an entire um, industry, publishing, newspaper, media industry against her. And even though she has given birth to the future king, even the royal family was out to destroy her. Oh, well, let me see here. Take that away. And, oh, okay, yeah, this is what I need to do. There you go. So I think I'm done with that. Again, those articles came out today. If you're interested, they are oh, here, you know what? That article, remember I said that the paparazzi had photographed Meghan out to lunch with Christian Jones. The headline says, "What a hottie. Meghan Markle's hunky new press secretary sets pulses racing as female fans urge Harry to be careful." That's what the article says. Mm-mm-mm. I tell you, Christian Jones with that very sweet, angelic face, but behind that sweet, angelic face is a monster, just like the people on the left and right in this photo. They're all horrible people, horrible, horrible people that seem to have no conscience whatsoever, none. Like a trio of sociopaths. And you know, they would destroy each other just as soon as they would destroy anybody. Who takes a job with someone that gives you the green light to target their own family member? I wouldn't want to work with someone like that. Of course, the first thing I would think is, well, if he can do that to his own brother, wonder what he would do to me. Okay, so let me go to the third article and then we'll move on to some other stuff. Um, oh, yuck. Um, that's bad when your first reaction is, oh, yuck. Um, but that's the first thing. If it's just like word association, right? Yuck. See what I mean? Yuck. Anyway, the yucks, the king and queen of yuck. Okay, let me see here. So that article, it says the truth about Megxit. I hate that word. How Dan Wooten and cash for leaks scandal split the royal family. As Scotland Yard probed the journalist Dan Wooten over allegations of blackmail and serial catfishing, after a 3-year special investigation by Byline Times, this newspaper can now reveal how his payments to the partner of a top royal aide forced the Duke and Duchess of Sussex to run from the UK. You know what? This article is very timely because Harry did say he was forced out. He did say he was forced out. When your brother hires people that are out to destroy you, what choice do you have but to leave? When the government is on your brother's side, the law enforcement is on your brother's side, the courts seem to be on your brother's side, right? Everybody is on your brother's side. And so to protect your wife and your child, you leave the country. It wasn't enough that they drove them out of Kensington Palace. They eventually had to leave the country. I want this story told. And I know that the book Endgame has been awful as far as I guess the Sussexes are concerned. I would say it's been awful, but it will be short lived. That this is only temporary. The very what do you call it, spirited reaction that the firm had is only because they're guilty. It's an indication of guilt. Everything that Omid Scobie said about them in that book was true. Omid Scobie didn't really give us anything new as much as he just kind of um, brought some pieces together so we can have better understanding. But most of the stuff we knew already. Omid Scobie's book, it reads like a conversation, a 15-hour conversation. That's how the book reads. And so it would be as though, excuse me, let me take a drink of water. It would be as though, let's say, you just moved to the UK, you don't have any information about the royal family, and you kind of thought the Sussexes were nice, and you talked to someone and you asked them, well, how did all of this happen? That is how Endgame reads to me. It's as though you're having a very long conversation. You're driving from New York to LA, and along the way, uh, your fellow passenger Omid Scobie starts talking. That's what the book reads like. It's telling the story, is giving you a little background about this person and that person, and otherwise is linking things together. Okay? So Byline Times, they had one idea of the whole 4,000 pound payment, but Omid Scobie, because of his proximity to the institution via the Royal Rota, he knew a little more information than even Byline Times was able to give us. So, you put the two of those together and throw the Spare by Prince Harry in there for extra measure. And what do you have? You seem to form a complete story. That's what you have. Anyway, so back to Yuck and Yuck. Ugh, ugh, I hate looking at them. Um, where did I leave off? The king withdrew his 700,000 pound funding deal for son Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's transition to life in Canada in retaliation for the naming of a top royal aide in legal papers alleging a cash for leak arrangement with the journalist Dan Wooten. Byline Times can reveal the financial sanction came after the Duke of Sussex defied the demand of the then Prince of Wales and palace staff by declining to remove the name of former Kensington Palace press secretary Christian Jones from a letter before action to Wooten's former employer, The Sun, in May of 2020. Jones denies any suggestion of wrongdoing or leaking confidential, that is, information about the royal household. The matter alleged that in the letter before action about him appeared in to have been dropped by the sudden defunding of the Sussexes in late June 2020, led to the collapse of the Sandringham Agreement governing a 12-month trial period as the couple sought to split their time between the UK and Canada has removed themselves from the Royal Rota, the press pool given exclusive inside access to cover the royals. So the Royal Rota, that is a group that was formed like what, about 30, 40 years ago. The Queen never got cozy with the Royal Rota. She didn't feel like she had to because the Queen was above reproach. Everybody loved the Queen, even people who hate monarchy. Even the most republic people in the UK still had an affection for the Queen. However, that affection did not carry over to Charles and his mistress, the two adulterers. That affection did not carry over to Charles and Camilla. And also for William, who up until the marriage of the Sussexes was known as lazy and uninterested in his role, all of a sudden reporting on William and his wife, Kate Middleton, who is equally, if not more lazy than he is, all of a sudden they could do no wrong. Because just like Charles, William had an ironclad deal with the press. William even took a payment from the press so that they could settle his lawsuit. And part of that payment, they agreed to write only glowing articles about him. But in exchange for that, not only can you say whatever you want about my brother, we'll leak some information to you. And if that's not enough, we'll make sure that he doesn't sue you. Yeah, we'll make sure that he don't sue you. So they tried, Charles, William, they tried to stop Harry from suing the newspapers, any of the newspapers. They said, what was that? Charles said, "My darling boy, oh my darling boy, it's a fool's errand. My darling boy, it's a fool's errand." And Harry was like, "Nope, nope, nope, nope. Hell to the no. I'm suing." And so the 700,000 pounds, which would have been about $1 million US if the exchange rate was favorable as it is most times, that would have been about $1 million a year for them to live on, right? But because Harry refused to drop that name from the article, they decided, oh no, 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 no. You can't have the money and you're not going to have royal protection. So, in order to uh, get or to keep Harry in line, in order to make Harry um, do the bidding of the institution, in order to have Harry sacrifice himself for the greater good, meaning Charles and his mistress, and of course, William and his lazy wife, um, Harry would have had to sacrifice his family and his happiness to make sure that that name was dropped from the case, and that way they could keep that invisible contract going. It was Harry who said that there was an invisible contract. So all of that was going on. And see, a lot of this information, Harry didn't just flat out say they cut the funding because I refused to drop that name. He didn't just come out and say it directly, not at first anyway. As a matter of fact, I don't know that Harry's ever mentioned this Christian Jones situation. I know he never mentioned Christian Jones by name. How's that? He never mentioned Christian Jones by name. It took the byline time and Omid Scobie to do that, to fill in those names for us. I think that's how the order went. But anyway, it's a lot to keep up with. It is a lot to keep up with. So, again, those articles are available. And I do recommend you support Byline Times by buying an online, what is it, a PDF where you can print it out if you like, or just save it to your PC or whatever. But you can get the subscription for like $33 a year or something like that. And it will go a long way to support their work. It will go a long way to support their work. So if you're so inclined to support independent journalism like this, then I do recommend that you get a subscription to Byline. Let me see. Oh, you guys are just dropping all kind of truth bombs. I'm looking at the comments here. Hmm. Yeah, I see somebody said Dylan Howard. Well, don't forget to throw Carolyn Graham in there. Carolyn Graham, who took one for the team. Carolyn Graham, who climbed up on Mount St. Thomas Markle. Yeah, don't forget her. She took one for the team. I hope she made it take a bath first, because there's something about that particular player doesn't seem like they bathe that much. But yeah, if you're going to take one for the team, make sure you have that particular player take a bath. But it seemed like she took one for the team, climbed up on Mount St. Thomas Markle and planted that Union Jack. Over there, over there. It's not over till it's over there. You know the Yanks are coming, the Yanks are coming. Oh. Over there, over there. Oh, yep. Sometimes you got to take one for the team, you know. Sometimes you have to sacrifice for the cause. And listen, I'm sure that there were plenty sacrifice that occurred with this trio right here. I'm pretty sure there was some sacrifices made. Uh, as a matter of fact, there may be some. Uh, where is that at? Where is it? This photo right here, this may be the only innocent photo there is, because knowing you know who, like we know him, he probably got some photos of some everybody in that room. Yep, he got photos of everybody doing some of everything, knowing him. Yep, 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 yep. This is the only innocent photo they have. Oh, I'm so sorry. How did I hit that? I sorry about that. I think I was drinking some water. Thank you so much, Sherry and Cookies and Cream and Amelia Rodriguez. Yeah. So anyway, what I was saying is, what was I saying? Oh Lord, I forgot what I was saying. But you know, it was something about a pulled pork sandwich. Um, I was saying, oh, never mind. I lost it. But I was saying that Charles Charles won't be emotionally blackmailed, but he is probably blackmailed by someone. I think that the media, the tabloid media, has plenty dirt on Charles and plenty dirt on William. And because they have so much dirt, probably got a few little stories about some other people, like, for instance, Kate. Maybe they have a little story about Kate that they're not reporting. Whatever the case may be, I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of stories out there. And if I'm guessing that as much as some of these gentlemen enjoy a delicious pulled pork sandwich, just as much as William has learned to enjoy the taste of a delicious pulled pork sandwich. I mean, he flew, what, 1,000 miles so that he might enjoy the texture and the breading and all of the accoutrements of a pulled pork sandwich. So, pulled pork sandwiches for everyone. Let me stop before people think I just got out of prison. Okay, the royal family thought they were playing with the house money. Little they know God had and still has something way better planned for the Sussexes. Thank you, Lori. Let me see. I'm sorry, Myrna Roberts says, I won't be emotionally blackmailed. Megan has lost her interest in them. Harry, well, you know, can understand he's still, yes, exactly. Okay. Um, going to a different topic. Let me do a reset here. Mm. So, it appears that someone has been to the Sears portrait studio. You know, you can count on Sears. It appears as though someone has been to the Sears portrait studio. I didn't even know they had Sears over in the UK, but apparently they do, because today it seems as though they released their photo from the Sears portrait studio. But first, take a look at the Sunday Telegraph. I don't know if they understand how awkward this is, but a Christmas cracker, a Christmas cracker, that's awkward, right? A Christmas cracker. That's almost as awkward as oh wait. That is almost as awkward as, I'm getting there. Give me a second. That's almost as awkward as a royally white Christmas, not to be confused with Kate's white power suit. See what I mean? A Christmas cracker. Mm-hmm. Kate's white power suit, as well as a royally white Christmas. Uh, so as the world has become smaller, and there's a lot of cultural terms, you know, that we know from other places. You know what I mean? Some of those colorful colloquiums that are uniquely American may be shared in other countries, and vice versa. There's a lot of things that I've learned from other countries, little terms and old sayings and things. So I find a Christmas cracker quite awkward. But there it is. There is a Sears Roebuck and Company portrait studio image of the Welleses, right? Of the Welleses, dad, mom, mom's hair, mom's hair extensions, um, the heir to the throne, as well as the spare and the other spare. So there they are, all lined up, having taken their photo at the Sears Portrait Studio. And I thought for sure they had closed that down, but no, it's still up and running. I didn't even know that they had a location in the UK, but apparently they do. That old backdrop that has been used for probably 100 years is still in use today. Just an ordinary family that seemed to commute every place they go by a fleet of Range Rovers, a pair of helicopters, as well as the private jet that they use. Just your typical British family. Even though there is a great deal of inflation and poverty in the United Kingdom today, still there's plenty money left over to make sure that this typical British family can fly from one house to the other. They have six using helicopters, and they go on vacation several times a year using helicopters, private jet, fleet of Range Rovers. Yeah, because when you have six homes, you have to be able to go from one house to the other. What if you left the tea kettle on, right? You got to fly back so you can turn the stove off. Very necessary to have a fleet of Range Rovers and, of course, a pair of helicopters, and not to mention that they have the private jet. So, all of that. That's what most typical families in Britain use to get from point A to point B. Now, Carol Middleton Party Pieces business had a terrible Christmas after expanding to the US. Princess Kate's mother is now locked in a dispute with firm's supplier after postal strike only added to the company woes. Carol Middleton, this is from last February, that article. Remember that? After they tried to expand into the US in for the Christmas 2022, everything just hit the ground like a sack of potatoes. Broke, broke. As a matter of fact, the last time we saw Carol Middleton, she was so distraught that she seemed like an old waxworks from Madame Tussauds. You see there? Oh, she seemed like a waxwork from Madame Tussauds. It's hard to tell that that's actually a human being behind that mask. But yeah, Carol Middleton. This is what uh, a decline in business can do to a person. You know, one day you're an air hostess. Next thing you know, you're a millionaire party pieces person, or whatever Uncle Gary calls it. And then uh, a decade or two later, you're running up behind Pippa's husband, hoping that you can get some money out of him, allegedly. So, yeah, poor Carol. Poor Carol. She bit off more than she could chew. Now, take a look here. Compare that Sears portrait studio on the left to the old photo of Harry and his brother on the right. It was said that it appears as though they were trying to recapture the spirit of that photo that was taken at the request of the Princess of Wales, Princess Diana, the people's princess. So I can see the similarity. I can definitely see the similarity. The angle of the chair and the composition where you have, the height tapering off to the right side. Yeah, I can definitely see the similarity in the photos. Although the one on the right side seems to, you know, actually, I don't know what it seems to. I can't even say. I look at William and instantly it just, what a turn off. What a turn off. I don't like William anymore. I think he's a terrible person. So, someone, I thought that this was a Disney movie, but it may be one of those AIs, but it's as though Disney is coming out with a movie based on the Wells family and is called Scroungers. It's about a British family that uses private jets, a fleet of Range Rovers, and of course, helicopters to get every place they want to go. While the tax-paying public can barely heat or eat, they are living their best lives, going to private schools, taking frequent vacations. Rarely do they shop on the high street. Why would they? They're rich. Matter of fact, the father has just come into a $1 billion fortune. So yeah, the Scroungers, Disney's Scroungers. Yeah, they should make a movie called The Scroungers. Yeah, I think they should, based on actual events. Actually, I didn't make that, Rochelle Baudreau. That was on the what do you call it? The Twitter today. So I'm just sharing it with you. I love it though. I think it's perfect. So it wouldn't be Christmas without a Christmas card from those other waxwork figures known as Charles and Camilla, Gladys, and what do they call him? Something in Gladys. Those two. Yeah, it wouldn't be complete without a Christmas photo from them, decked out in their regal regalia on Coronation Day. Now, the people from Republic, they wanted to also submit a Christmas card today. If you're familiar with Republic, Republic is that group of people that are pledging to end monarchy as we know it and replace it with an elected head of state. No more monarchs, an elected head of state. Well, this is their Christmas card. Yeah, I think it's kind of cute. Who knows what's on the inside, but on the outside, it has a lovely Christmas sweater. And of course, it says, "Not my king, not my king, not my king." So, yeah, thank you, Republic, for the great imagination. And some odies but goodies. This is a Christmas card that I reimagined. I think they had a different photo for it, but I put that photo in there. Wishing you a joyful holiday season from our family to yours. And on behalf of our team at the Archwell Foundation, Archwell Audio, Archwell Productions, we wish you health, peace, and a very happy new year. Best wishes, Has and Meg. The let me see, Prince Harry, Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. So yeah, I think that was a card they had last year, but I didn't like the photo, so I put that one in there. Excuse me. And this was their second? No, was this the first Christmas card that they gave us? Wishing you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from our family to yours, the Sussexes. And then take a look there. Wishing you a very merry, wishing you a very merry Christmas and a happy New Year. So this was the first Christmas card, or was it the second? But anyway, that's Archie's little playhouse on the grounds of the stately, palatial, opulent, picturesque Sussex Manor in Montecito, California, where there are no leaks in Montecito. There are no leaks in Montecito. Let me see. What was last year's Christmas card? So I see Lydia said it was a black and white photo. Let me see if I could find that one. Let me see if I can find it. Let me get rid of this. And I'm sure I have it. Happy holiday. Happy holiday. May the merry bells keep ringing. May your every wish come true. Happy holidays. Happy holidays. Let me see here. You know what? I don't see it. I don't see the original black and white photo. I changed it so fast because I love that photo. I think I changed it so fast I've lost track of it. Let me see. Let me try this. Harry and Meghan Christmas card. It was a black and white photo. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that was it. Well, that one's not bad. I wonder why I switched it out so fast. Here, I'll show you guys. Give me a second. That one's not bad. I mean, I just like the other one more. That was it. Okay. Okay. All right. So here comes. This was the one from last year. That was the one from last year. So for some reason, I didn't like it and I changed it to this one. Yeah. I changed it to that one. Sorry. I like that one though. That one just, but this is great too. This one is great too. And that's something I didn't even have this one. I had to look for it online. Oh, what am I doing here? Let me take that away. Go back here and there. And then, of course, there was this Christmas card. Little Biff's first Christmas. You remember this one? Love that photo. And of course, like father, like son, barefoot. Archie's going to run around the house in his bare feet just like his dad. But yeah, that photo. So that was Little Bit's first Christmas. I remember this one just about broke the internet, didn't it? Just about broke the internet. Now, you guys, Gary Goldsmith's memoir, What You Didn't Know About the Royal Family The Royal Family Insider, Gary Goldsmith's secret. Did you guys know that Gary Goldsmith has a memoir? Did you all know that? That big uh, overstuffed uncle of Kate Middleton, that's Carol Middleton's brother, Gary Goldsmith, has a memoir. He had threatened to write a memoir. Well, there's a memoir. What's shocking, though, is that Gary Goldsmith is threatening to take legal action because he says that this is not his memoir. Someone else wrote this and is for sale on Amazon. So he's threatening legal action. So, right here, I want you to get a little familiar with Gary Goldsmith. Kate Middleton's uncle exposed as drug dealing millionaire. Yeah. Prince William was last night forced to cut ties with Kate Middleton's uncle after he was filmed giving party favors, not party pieces, but party favors to an undercover reporter. Middleton's at war. Now Uncle Gary wades into back Carol. He defends sister as cousin calls her a snob who's grander than the queen. Woo! Somehow I can believe that. Somehow, hey Anastasia, somehow I can believe that. You know, it's usually the Johnny come lately to the family that's a bigger snob than the actual royal family or the aristocrat. I learned that from Downton Abbey. Sometimes like for instance, there was it was said that the queen thought the U-boat captain was a bit grand for their taste. Um, Instead of being known as countess, she wanted to have the title Princess Michael of Kent because she wanted to make sure that everybody understood that she was a princess, right? So it's rare that people do that. Like, for instance, you did not see the Countess of Wessex. She didn't run around telling everybody that she was Princess Edward. She didn't do that. Princess Edward of Wessex, I guess. No, she just used the style Countess of Wessex. Meghan uses Duchess of Sussex rather than to use the name Princess Henry of Wales. Now, for me, it's just fun and shady to say Princess Meghan because people get highly upset. I mean, it's an emotionally charged nickname. Oh, the vitriol that I have received from using the name Princess Meghan. Actually, the rank of a royal duchess is a higher rank than a royal princess. That is true, but to most Americans, it always seems as though being a princess would rank you above a duchess. I mean, there's plenty duchesses. Well, there's not that many duchesses. I think there's only maybe 20 duchesses, if that many, in all of Britain. That is probably the smallest pool of the titles available. There's a whole bunch of barons, but there's not that many. Let me see. I'm kind of curious. How many dukes are there in the United Kingdom? 30 dukes. There are 30 dukes in the United Kingdom who hold 37 dukedoms. There are 24 non-royal dukes and 6 royal dukes, 3 men who hold 3 men hold 2 separate dukedoms. Huh. Yeah, so there you go. There's only 30 dukes, and of the 37 dukes, there are some that actually hold more than one dukedom. There are 24 non-royal dukes and 6 royal dukes. Okay. Curiosity satisfied. This is the list. Oh, there's a list of them. Oh. Are you ready for it? Here goes. The Duke of Cornwall, the Duke of Norfolk, Duke of Somerset, Richmond, Grafton, Beaufort, St. Albans, Bedford, Devonshire, Marlborough, Rutland, Duke of Rothesay, Duke of Hamilton. Oh, here's a combination right here of I don't even know how to say that, Buckletch and look like it says butt clutch. Is Buckletch, Queensbury. Oh, you know what? I just lost my list. Never mind. Anyway, I was over it. Black Queen, what is that? Let me see. Baron, check out Pickwood Meg holding up Lily. Isn't that her middle finger in the air? I am. Why are you starting? Why is you starting? Let me go back and look. um um that is an optical illusion, I am sure. But let me see. I'm literally holding my hands up right now trying to. I'm not sure. It could be. It very well could be. As a matter of fact, let's assume that it is. Oh, thank you so much, Black Queen. Leave it to you to find something like that. Leave it to you. Oh. Oh, very sweet. Thank you so much for that. Okay. Oh, I need to go back. Which way? This way? Oh, there we go. So that's where I left off. Let me see. As a younger son in Kent line, Prince Michael was not entitled to a peerage, duke, earl, or etc. Plus, he married a Roman Catholic. That's right. That's right. Because he was so far removed from the line of succession, I believe the Queen had to approve of their marriage. The U-boat captain and Prince Michael of Kent. I think the Queen had to give approval. Am I right about that? And wasn't the Duke of Kent's older brother? He's the one that died mysteriously in that plane crash. The one that was dating the Jewish lady that he met in Japan. That's not complicated at all, is it? But yeah, he was dating a Jewish woman that he met in Japan, and he actually flew not a jet, but he flew a turbo. I saw that documentary. Is it true that he flew a turboprop plane, a propeller plane, all the way from the UK to Japan? I believe he did that, which means he had to refuel several times along the way. Now, someone who is such an accomplished pilot, how is it he died in a plane crash? How could he possibly have died in a plane crash if he had enough skill to fly from the UK to Japan in a single engine turbo prop propeller plane? Then how in the world did his plane just drop out of the sky? I want to know. The death of the Duke of Kent. No, not that Duke of Kent. I forgot what his name was. Was his name William? Oh, yeah, that was his name. William. Oh, William of Gloucester. Died in 1972, age 30, in a plane crash while piloting his plane in a competition. Hmm, isn't that something? Isn't that something? Seems a little suspect if you ask me. But I digress. So his brother became the Duke of Kent. Is that right? Oh, no, his brother was born in 1935, and he was born in. What year was he born? He was good looking, though. He was good looking. As bad as his brother looked, it's hard to believe how good looking he was. I'll show you guys his photo if you want to see it. It's hard to believe how good looking he is when you look at the Duke of Kent. Um, One of the squaddies calls the Duke of Kent Shuffalong because of the way his feet be slatting. She calls him Shuffalong. Oh, I'm sorry, you guys. I forgot the U-boat captain was on here. Let me get rid of her photo. I'll go back over here. Um, Let me see. Um, oh, that file is too big. I got to get rid of something else. Okay, let me see. Okay, let me try it again. Over there, over there. It's not over till it's over there. Okay, I won't be able to share that one with you. The file is too large. Let me see if I can find another one. Yeah, it's got too many pixels. It's too many pixels. This works. This should work. So go back here and do that. And that. That should work. Okay, so that is the one who died in the plane crash. That's William the Earl. Wait. No, as younger. Wait, I'm reading the wrong thing here. Sorry about that. Okay, Prince William of Gloucester, the daredevil prince of the Duke of Cambridge, is named after. Oh, so William was named after this guy, this brave, courageous guy, and they named that little wimp Willie after him? Say it isn't so. Yeah, Willie is such a wimp. How could they name William after this guy? This guy has so much backbone and courage. It doesn't seem like a good fit, does it? Plus, he's got amazing hair. I mean, he's age 30 here. Remember how William looked at age 30? It was almost over. Oh, he had no siblings, an only child? Okay. He was very close to Charles. Okay. Yeah. Good looking. And when you think about how beastly some of those people in that family look, what a shame to lose this one. Oh, well. What a shame. Because, I mean, to tell you, there's some monsters in that Windsor household. Monsters. I mean, a beastly individuals in that family. Mm-hmm. Very average. If I could be so petty. Very average. So this is Uncle Gary, in case you guys don't know. Kate, who uses that posh accent that seemed to come from nowhere, that's because of the elocution lessons she's taken. But that very posh Kate Middleton, you wouldn't know how common her background is unless you dig really deep. You know how deep you have to dig? Let me see. Have you ever seen a piece of paper sitting on a table? Well, that's about how deep you have to go. Not very. All you have to do is lift up a piece of paper, and there you will find a very common family that the aristocracy laughed at, and they're still laughing at them. Like this one right here, out for count. Kate Middleton's Uncle Gary Goldsmith arrested on suspicion of thumping wife in street after 1 a.m. row. The Duchess of Cambridge uncle, businessman Gary Goldsmith, businessman is code for. Anyway, Gary Goldsmith was arrested following reports of him hitting wife, Julianne, in the early hours of Friday morning. What a gentleman, right? And of course, I love the way the squatty put this together. Meet Kate Middleton's Uncle Gary. Fool in the crown. Get it? Jewel in the crown. Fool in the crown. Kate Middleton's Uncle Gary Goldsmith urinates in the street and munches on McDonald's after wild night out with pals. Shamed Gary Goldsmith staggered around London's posh Regent Street before collapsing on the pavement, just weeks after being handed a 12-month community for after punching his wife in the face. What a gentleman. He's not a bully, is he? What a gentleman. And there he is up there in that top photo. It looks like he's cleaning some dust off of the countertop. Yes, it appears to me that there seems to be some dust or maybe some baking soda that has been spilled upon the countertop, and he's being very careful not to waste any of it. Yeah, what a considerate guy. And just like right there, where you can see it looks like he's taking a leak out there on the public streets. Actually, there was a stain on the pavement. Someone dropped the ice cream cone, and he's just trying to clean up the mess. So that's our Gary Goldsmith. And even the vanity, even Vanity Fair, vanity. Okay, let me try that again. Even Vanity Fair wrote an article about this loser, Prince William, to have a party favor dealing uncle-in-law. Britain Prince William had a nasty shock this weekend when he found his girlfriend's uncle was caught on camera providing an undercover reporter with party favors. Just before fumbling with baking soda at the kitchen. Oh, that must be that photo there. Just before fumbling with baking soda at the kitchen table, Kate's uncle Gary Goldsmith bragged about his ties with the royal family, revealing suspect intimate details about the couple, including a family dinner at which William apparently openly discussed Kate's figure. Ugh. Ugh. That's weird. In 2006, the Prince and Kate reportedly stayed with Goldsmith at the 8.25 million Ibiza villa nicknamed Le Maison de What is that? Le Maison de Bang Bang. Oh, good Lord. This is going from bad to worse. Le Maison de Bang. What does that mean, Le Maison? Le Maison de Bang Bang. How juvenile. And you thought your family was embarrassing. Woo! This Uncle Gary, my goodness. He is a hoot. Let me see. You've read your last complimentary article. Oh, they want me to subscribe to Vanity Fair. Fat chance. I'm not subscribing to nothing. But Le Mason de Bang Bang. Good Lord. Uncle Gary's a pig, isn't he? He's an absolute pig. I can't believe my eyes. Let me see. La Mason de Bang Bang. Oh, there it is. I just saw a picture of it. It's a nice villa. Oh, the Mirror had an article years ago. Let me see. Mason de Bang Bang, owned by, I gotta stop saying that. It sounds weird. Wow, Uncle Gary, he's got good taste. He's got good taste. And there's a picture of Will and Kate. Wow. They they went to but you know what? You know what? William really does act like he's had a visit with Uncle Gary, if you know what I mean. He really does act like he's been hanging out with Uncle Gary, doesn't he? He acts like he's someone who is a frequent guest of Uncle Gary. That he does. Wow, the Guardian even had an article. Kate Middleton's Uncle Gary, the royal family's newest black sheep. And that article was from 2013. Wow. Appearance unregal. Okay, listen to this. This is how they describe him. Age 47, appearance unregal, full name Gary Goldsmith, motto, it's Gary's world and you just live in it. Occupation, self-made IT recruitment millionaire, but better known as the dodgy maverick, delete according to Taste, brother of Carol Middleton and thus uncle of saintly Kate. Ah, yes, wasn't there a spot of bother just before the wedding to William? Indeed, Goldsmith was the victim of the News of the World sting, in which he allegedly offered undercover reporters party favors and Brazilian working women uh, at his lovely home in Ibiza. He offered a Brazilian career woman to the undercover reporter. It happens how the Middletons react initially with fury, but they eventually relented and he was allowed to attend the wedding. How did it go? Splendidly. He kept a low profile, arriving in a 280,000 pound bright blue Rolls Royce Phantom convertible. He has been keeping his nose. He has been keeping his nose clean. I guess he has. What does he use to clean his nose? You didn't ask, right? What does he use to clean his nose? You did not ask. And you know what? I'm not even going to speculate. Um, he has reformed characters, staying away from the nightclubs and use of frequent uh, and used to frequent Ibiza, marrying a fourth time and even turning Le Maison de Bang Bang, or is it Mansion? Mason, Le Maison de Bang Bang, into a center for alternative therapies. Oh Lord, there's so much code language in here. Keeping his nose clean, Center for Alternative Therapies. Let me see. So is he back in favor? Well, until this next week. What happened? He has given an interview to Hello Magazine, discreetly tucked across 16 pages describing Caden William stays at Le Maison de Bang Bang. Oh no, not party favors, lap dancers and Brazilian career ladies. Sadly, not. Mud baths. Oh, okay. So instead of that other stuff, now there's mud baths, um, swimming in a pool, and I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. But oh well, he's a cut up, y'all. He is a cut up. This is an old article from The Guardian. Oh man. He's a mess. He is a mess. That's no wonder people are saying party favors was not exactly what people thought it was. It's as though they took some of Uncle Gary's resources and used it to buy access to the royal family. Isn't that something? You got Uncle Gary, right? And then there's Camilla's son. They both seem to be in the same line of business at one time. Um, yeah, isn't that something? So with Uncle Gary and Camilla's son, and then of course the very young and impressionable Harry and his brother, I mean, to tell you, you would think that the royal family would have done more to keep these dodgy, shady characters away from the heir and the spare, but they did not. They were left to their own devices, and these are the kind of people that they hang around. But I promise you, William acts just like he is still um, hanging out with Uncle Gary. He does act that way. All of that anger and um, incandescent rage. I wonder if he had hung out with Gary before he went over there and attacked Harry. That's probably why he's so upset, is because Harry has left that world behind, and he may still very well be part of it. I wonder. I really do wonder. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Anyway, you guys, the Princess Royale would like to wish you all a very happy Kwanzaa. You dig? A very happy Kwanzaa. The Princess Royale, as you know, is going back to her roots. And in doing so, she wants to make sure that she keeps it real, show enough. So in the spirit of the holiday season, and of course, given there's a lack of representation of her community, she's coming out loud and proud by saying Happy Kwanzaa. Show enough. Now, a number of engagements worked. In 2023, Princess Anne had some 457 engagements, Charles 425, the Duke of Edinburgh, uh, 297. Really? The Queen consort, the Queen consort not the queen consort, 233. Duchess of Edinburgh, 219. Prince of Wales, 172. Duke of Gloucester, 172. Princess of Wales, 123, also known as Mumbles. Duchess of Gloucester, 117. Duke of Kent, 69. Princess Alexandra, 3. Prince Michael, 2. Duke of York, 2. Princess Michael, 1. And Duke of Sussex, 0. Uh-huh. What about the Duchess of Sussex? No mention of her, huh? Okay. Although Prince Harry did have whale child, right? Prince Harry also, let me see, what else did he do? He was at the funeral. That is counted as an engagement. The coronation, that is counted as an engagement. What are they doing here? Those are counted as engagements, right? What a bunch of hooey. Anyway, once again, happy Kwanzaa. As you know, the Princess Royale also celebrated Black History Month, both in the UK and in the United Kingdom, sure enough. You know, she has to make sure that people understand the struggle that she's had. 400 years of oppression. And of course, the constant struggle of trying to find hair products in the UK. You know, not everybody carries Glover's mane and such. So 400 years of oppression, and still there's no hair care available. Do you know how difficult it is to find a salon that caters to people like her in that shire that she lives in? It's been very difficult for her. She hasn't had it easy. So I'm just saying, not telling you all what to do. But just be a little more considerate. Okay. Okay. Afro Annie. Sure enough, right on. YM Droid says, and Kate expressed concerns about Anne's hair. She probably did. She probably did. Skin color, hair texture. There's not anything that she hasn't expressed concerns about. Wow. Boy, I tell you, now that I know Uncle Gary a little bit better, that's all I can think about. I can't stop thinking about Uncle Gary. You know, once you get to know him better, it's just like, wow, how does he fit into this family? That's what I'm trying to figure out. I am morbidly curious about his role in that family. Let me see here. Where is that? I wonder, do I still have that other one? Let me see. What is this one? Oh, let the revolution begin. Sorry, I took myself out of the whole chat by mistake. Sorry about that. Hit the wrong thing. Oh well, let me stop trying to be clever and move on here. So, okay. Oh, right there. So Prince William's drastic 5-point plan to modernize firm that would horrify late Queen. Exclusive. Heir to the throne is preparing to give up the Commonwealth, reduce engagements, and focus solely on the Wales family when he becomes king, the Express can report. Did you guys hear about this? Oh, he looks like Uncle Fester. Are you saying Uncle Gary looks like Uncle Fester? Let's see here. Yeah, he does look like Uncle Fester. And you know, every time I look at that waistcoat he's wearing, he always looks like something left over from Easter. He looks like some type of one of those old claymation cartoons. He always reminds me of something left over from Easter. Like it wouldn't be unusual to see him wearing a brightly colored sports jacket like green or bright blue or pink or something like that. Look like that would compliment him actually. Oh well, let me get back to where I was, but thank you so much for your comment. Uh so right here, Prince William's 5-point plan. You know, every time Prince William makes one of his grand announcements, I bet you everybody, all those courtiers, especially the older courtiers, I bet they just about crap their pants. Oh boy, here comes another one of his grand announcements, like ending hunger, ending homelessness, peace in the Middle East, getting rid of the tusk or the whatever you call it. Um, all of those ivory, getting rid of the ivory. Here's another one of his grand forecasts. Well, the newly minted global leader says he's going to give up the Commonwealth, fewer royal patronages, focus on the Wales family, fewer royal engagements, and frugality in mind, less formality, scale down coronation and ceremonies. Now, you know what? You know what? If he does this, he might actually make himself very popular because the Commonwealth is a waste of time. It doesn't really mean anything to the average person, which the Commonwealth mostly consists of people of color. And he doesn't really seem to have you know, a concern for them. So may as well get rid of it. Um, the Commonwealth is like trying to hold on to the colonies. It's like trying to hold on to empire. It doesn't have a place in the modern world. It's ridiculous. Fewer royal patronages. And plus, if you're going to try to keep the Commonwealth together, you're going to have to make frequent trips overseas. And well, we all know what happened the last time William had a visit to a Commonwealth. It was an absolute disaster. As a matter of fact, thanks to William, about half of the Commonwealth was lost. Oh, sorry about that. I don't think Charles is as interested in the Commonwealth. And William, after the beating that he took, after that agonizing defeat that he had when he and Kate went to the Caribbean, I think it would just make sense to let it go. It's not going to define them. As a matter of fact, it will be their ruin if they try to continue with the Commonwealth. So I think they should just let it go. They should just let it go. Makes sense to me. Let it go. Um, People of color are are not enthused by it anyway. What should I say? Not enthused. Yeah, probably not. It doesn't serve anyone. Who does it serve besides politicians? I think when the royals are invited to a Commonwealth country, it helps to bolster the image of the local politicians. But other than that, I don't know if it helps anyone. I just don't know that it helps anyone. So let me see. Back to that list. Fewer patronages. Well, that's easy. They ain't got that many anyway. Focus on Wells family. Well, that's what they call it when William is away from home. Fewer royal engagements. They've already done that. Let me see. One, two, three. I think just about everything on this list has been covered. They do very few royal engagements anyway. I mean, after all, if you take a look at this, where is it? William and Kate are doing less engagements than some of the people that are twice their age. So, yeah, they won't be missed. They don't do anything in the first place. Oh, by the way, today's Royal Sussex was brought to you by Royal Fro. When your hair deserves the royal treatment, then you want Royal Fro comb out, style, and setting spray. Royal Fro, the comb out, style, and spray. Royal Fro. When your hair deserves the royal treatment, Royal Fro. It's what Afro Annie wears. Royal Fro. Oh man. Oh my God. Is it really that late? Oh my, I didn't know it was that late. It's almost 2 a.m. Royal Fro. Oh, so you know what, guys? I'm almost done. I am almost done. I just have just a few more slides. Take a look at this. This is Alexi Ohanian, the partner, the husband of Serena Williams. Well, he was one of the first to receive the Tesla Cybertruck. Yes, the Tesla Cybertruck. You know, they say the difference between men and boys are the price of their toys. Have you guys ever heard that? The only difference between men and boys are the price of their toys. So, Alexis, who is a real girl dad, he loves his daughter. Well, daughters, right? They have two now, right? He loves being a girl dad. Well, but in spite of that, don't let anybody tell you he's not a man's man. And that's why he took possession of the new Cybertruck. If you want to keep your husband or partner happy, go and get him that Cybertruck. This innovative vehicle is a truck created by Tesla. It's all electric. It's as fast as just about any production car out there. There is no uh, gas powered, petrol powered vehicle that's as fast as the Cybertruck. I mean, this thing hauls butt, and it's got, like, I guess it's stainless steel, right? Ballistic glass, and of course the back has like a roll top desk opening. It's got like a rolling shutter for the bed of the truck. But yeah, this is his new toy. So now this is the last thing I want to share with you. This was from an article written by Richard Eden, where they're making some very nasty comments about Megan. And um, I guess I shouldn't be surprised that they used that photo, but there's that famous photo of the Queen where it looks like she's staring Megan down. The Queen had what I like to call the resting sovereign face. Queen Elizabeth was quite stoic most occasions, especially when her role as the sovereign was playing out in front of the world. She didn't often smile that much. When I saw her at the Troop in the Colors, she went through the whole parade route in a carriage by herself, and she did not smile. So, who's to say that this occasion she should be grinning and grinning and grinning like Kate? That's not who she is or who she was. To show you how unfair it is to try to cast Megan as being the vein of the Queen's existence, take a look at this. What do you see here? Do you see any difference in these photos? There's Eugenie and the Queen. There's Megan and the Queen. Both, the Queen is seated in the pews at the St. George Chapel. And in both photos, one of the, if not the happiest day in their lives, being married women. You would hope that everybody was happy for them. But as usual, the Queen does not look that happy. The Queen is just being herself. So I dug around. I knew I had this photo. One of the squatties put this together, and thank God for that, because, as I said, it has been very stressful looking at some of these awful headlines. And Richard Eden, he is one of the worst. He just sits there and he thinks of things that are not rooted in reality at all. Just whatever he can think of nasty to say, he will say it. And that particular article um, was accompanied with that photo. They're trying to sell this story that um, that the Queen was angry at the Sussexes. The Queen did not like Meghan. Um, this is just the Queen being the Queen. I have photos of the Queen from Trooping the Colors, and you would think, with everybody in the crowd cheering and screaming and happy to see you, you would have thought the Queen would have at least smiled, right? She did not. Most occasions, the Queen just did not smile. But that did not stop Richard Eden from thinking of something awful to try to portray about the Queen's relationship with Meghan. And we all know that that is just not true. The Queen uh, rather fancied Meghan. She thought Meghan was amazing. She got on well with her. The corgis loved her. So if the corgis love you, then the Queen's going to love you. Plain and simple. Um, let me see. But yeah, that never stops. That never stops the some of those reporters. They're just evil people. They're plain and simple. They are very very evil people. Um, and they will say anything No matter how hurtful, no matter how big of a lie, they will do that. So it is unfortunate. It really is unfortunate because I would hate for anyone, even if I know it's a lie, I would hate for anyone to go around misrepresenting a relationship that I've had with anybody, let alone someone as important as the Queen is to Harry. Who would want that? Who would want that type of pressure? So it really stinks. It really, really stinks. Let me see. What day was that? Uh, okay, give me a second here. I'm gonna show you guys I'm gonna show you a photo that I took of the Queen myself. And you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. But by the way, you guys, I'm done. So if you need to get to bed, go ahead and get your rest on. And we will see you tomorrow on another I was gonna say amazing, but okay, June 9th, 2018. June 9th, 2018. Okay, I'm still here. I'm just looking for something. Give me a second. And by the way, Trooping the Colors is okay. It's all right. It's a lot of pomp and pageantry, pomp and circumstance, you name it. It's all of that stuff. It passes the time. What could I say? It passes the time. I was really just there to see Harry and Meghan, you understand. I was there to see Harry and Meghan. So there you go. I took this photo myself. And there's the Queen emerging from Buckingham Palace. She's not smiling. She never smiles. It's very rare when the Queen is doing her public duty like that. She's not all smiles. She's just there. That is her game face. And so, as I said, the idea that that there was something sinister about the Queen with that very stoic look, she's like that with everybody. That's just the way it is. So I just thought it was important to make sure that there's no doubt that it was nothing personal against Meghan. That's just the way the Queen is. And when she came out, it wasn't a bunch of cheers and all that kind of stuff. Very little of that. The crowd was just as stoic as she was. It was, as a matter of fact, everything just got quiet. I mean, there were people waving to her and stuff, but it wasn't it wasn't a big hoopla. It wasn't. It was much to do about nothing. Let me see here. But yeah, I was there to see Harry and Meghan. I didn't really care about that other stuff. And that was June the 9th, 2018. So I was in Windsor on the wedding day, And then I was still in the UK, so I went to Troop in the Color. Baron, did you hear Salman Rushdie got 12 years of taxpayer-funded security from the UK government? No, I did not know that. I did not know that. By the way, thank you for the super chat. But no, I did not hear that. And you know, the government in the UK provides security for any visiting foreign dignitaries, not just heads of state, but foreign dignitaries. They are obliged to provide security. So the handful of times a year that Harry comes over, it just doesn't make sense that they don't want him to have security. It means that they are trying to make sure that Harry stays in exile, a self imposed exile, um, because of the lack of security. Yeah, we're live. We're live. Welcome. But thank you again, Lorna Williams. Greatly appreciate the comment. And as I said, that was it for today. So y'all go get your rest on. Enjoy your Sunday. I think it's pretty much Sunday for everybody now, except for West Coast. I think you guys are still around 11:51 p.m., right? In Nevada, California, New Mexico. Yep. So I took that photo myself. Can't believe it. There I was, and I'm just like, how in the world did I get here? I'm in London. I'm looking at the Queen. And I don't mean Elton John. I mean the Queen. I'm in London, and there's the Queen. I couldn't believe it. And, you know, when I saw Princess Diana married at Buffoon, I had said to myself that I would love to be, um, at a royal wedding. And who knew that one day the only uh, woman of African descent to marry into the family, confirmed woman of African descent to marry into the family, that I would be there to actually witness it myself. I couldn't have made that up. Now, I got another photo I'll show you. Let me see here. Okay, let me try this. I didn't realize that that was Harry and Meghan in the back of the car. I took some photos of all the cars that were leaving and did not realize that that was Harry and Meghan until I like really zoomed in. Had no idea, but you can just barely see. Well, you could see that the dress that Meghan had on, but yeah, I didn't realize that they were in that car. How cool was that, right? And now the people that are at the gate, those are people that are invited to be that close. The average person could not get so close to the gate. Only, selected people were in that zone. So I was behind a barrier around that circle drive, that the little ellipse that goes around the statue. I would, well, you can see what angle I am. I'm on the side by the Canada gate. But it was a lot of fun. Sunshine, thank you so much for the super sticker. Let me take a look and see if I have any more photos. I mean, I got a photo of them on the balcony, but it's not nearly as nice as the ones that you would see on television or in the magazine. My Zoom was not that strong. And you know what's also kind of weird is that when they first came out to the balcony, I didn't even realize they were out there. Um, and I saw everybody was like pointing, and I'm just like, "What's going on?" And you know, because there was no big cheer when they came out, and a lot of people were there craning their necks trying to see Megan, and you know, Megan wasn't in the front, so it was kind of hard. Oh, okay, yeah. Here's a photo of the Sussexes I took. And just as the Sussexes were riding by in the carriage, Megan had raised her hand up to brush her hair back. And so the closest photo, she actually had her hand in front of her face. Oh, man. What luck, right? But I'll show you that one. Let me see. How do I do that? Okay, so oh, maybe I could leave that one. Let me see if this works. There you go. I mean, you can see how close I was, right? I'm probably about 50 feet away. Yeah, I'm going to say I'm probably about 50 feet away. Yeah, truth or dilly, it was incredible. Well, you know, and I've told the story several times, but it was 2017, and I saw something about there was a sale for airline tickets or whatever. So I purchased the ticket to go from April until June, right? And then the next day I heard, and this was the day after Thanksgiving, I believe it was. The very next day, they announced that Harry was engaged. Oh, wow. Okay. And then it wasn't long after that that they set a wedding date. And I said, well, if I'm over there, I'm going to make sure I'm in the crowd at the wedding, right? And sure enough, they announced it was what was it, May the 18th, was it? And I said, oh, I'll be there. So that is how and then that morning, I had traveled from Italy by train. I stayed overnight in Paris, and then the next day I went to London. And so the day after that was the wedding day. So I guess the 17th, I was in London. And then I woke up that morning and I was so tired. I said, oh God, I want to go. But I looked at my phone. It said it was like over 2 hours to get there. And I was like, no. And I said, no, 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 no. You've come this far. You got to go. So I got up, got out of the hotel. I was near that cable car that goes across the Thames. That's where I was. So I got up and I went on my merry way to Windsor. Took over 2 hours. I get to Windsor and they are not letting people move. They were doing some heavy crowd control. So finally they let us go. And then as I'm getting closer to the checkpoint, to the I think they had like a what do you call those things? A metal detector. As I'm getting closer to the checkpoint, people are walking in the other direction. And they were like, they're not letting anybody through. They're not letting anybody through. And there were a bunch of people that left, And I said, oh, maybe it wasn't meant to be. But then I said, no, you've come this far, keep going. So we all waited, and it was hard to get cell phone reception because there were so many people on their phones, and the wedding had already started. So um, we're watching, very blurry, grainy images on other people's phones. Mine was not working. And then eventually they started letting people through. And so by the time I got through, I think it was, oh, I don't know what part of the ceremony it was, but they had the big jumbotrons, so you could definitely see it on the jumbotron. And there was a lot of people cheering and stuff like that. And then, if I could describe where I was, you know how the carriage went and made that big loop around and then went straight down that straightaway toward the castle? I was not far from where the carriage does that loop around and heads back in the other direction. So I was kind of like at the very end of the procession, and it really is exciting when you see the soldiers with their breastplates, those shiny breastplates, and the red uniform. That is amazing to see all of those people on horseback. And the day was so idyllic. I mean, the weather was perfect. I really lucked out when it came to the weather. But yeah, so I was at that end of the procession route where they make that big loop around and when what do they call that? The Great Walk or the Great Mile or whatever that is, that goes all the way down to the gates of Windsor. And so after the procession was over, some people went home, but a lot of people started walking toward Windsor Castle. And that's what I did. I had walked through the town of Windsor to get to where I was. They wouldn't let us get close to the castle. And that's what I meant by crowd control. They were actually pushing people further down so that you wouldn't crowd up in one, area. It made sense after the fact, but the police was literally guiding us through the streets. We would get to this corner and then we'd make a left and we go down some more. Then we have to make another turn. And so that's how they were able to spread the crowd out along the entire procession route. Very smart the way they did that. And so by the time I got to the procession route, the wedding had already started. So, we're out there. I'm like probably 5 positions back from the actual street. And so, because it was on an incline, there was nobody obstructing my view. The only thing is when I tried to record it, once the carriage was close, everybody hands went up at the same time, and so that threw the focus off, and so the focus was all messed up. My photos were ruined, but it didn't matter. I was still glad to be there. I mean, I wasn't just there for the photos. I was there because I wanted to be there and to be able to support a Black American princess. I mean, that just made it that much more relevant. So, um, fun time, very fun time, unforgettable. That is for sure. Uh, so yeah, and then after the wedding, I started walking toward the castle, and just it was like a party atmosphere. There were people dressed up and everything. So it was just cool to be there in the crowd and to witness everything the way it played out. So that made it rather enjoyable, I would say. Let me see what. No, it wasn't the 18th. It was the 19th, right? The wedding was on the 19th. Okay, May 19th, 2018. Ah, yeah, there they go. I was looking for the photos from the wedding day. Oh, and by the way, that was the first time I ever had some English fish and chips. It was really good. English fish and chips. I had it from some little place near the Windsor Castle. But my photos were ruined. The only one that I'll show you, the only one that really came out clear. The only one that came out clear. Okay, you see that? I got a lovely photo of the back of their heads. That was the only one that came out clear. But everything before that was blurry because people's hands went up as soon as they got close. Everybody, now see, and I was willing to push my way forward to make sure that I got a good view, but I said, no, I'm taller than the rest of these people. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stand, about 5 back. But I was like, I am kind of ghetto. Maybe I'll just push my way up front. But I showed great restraint, and I'm glad I did. But if I had to do it over again, somebody will just have to end up in the hospital because I didn't come all that way just to get a blurry image. Okay, I'll show you what I mean. Now, right here, you see that? There, you can see Megan, you can see Harry, and you could also see everybody's phone is up in the air. And look at how blurry they are. That's why they're blurry, is because that hand with that iPhone 4S threw my focus off. Yep, that ruined my focus. And you can see how close I was. It's just like maybe 3 people, 4 people between me and the pavement. And what's really obsessed my sensibility, look at how dirty that phone is. If you're going to stick your phone up, at least clean it. Look how nasty that phone is. Ugh. Well, anyway, so that was my image. Now, I made a video about that day, and I used this photo. I used this photo and the other photo. And one of the people that looked at the video, they said, well, the photos weren't that good. They're not supposed to be that good. I wanted to show you what I was able to see on that day. So whether they were good photos or bad photos, that's not the point. You get to see things the way I saw it. And that's the way I saw it. A big hand with a nasty phone. Huh. I just noticed, what kind of watch is that? That is a that's crap. Anyway, so you as you if you look in the background there, you see how there's all those people on the other side of the street? Well, that was a really good spot because when the carriage made the loop around, they just had to run about 100 feet and then they could see them go by the second time. You know what I mean? So if I would have been on the other side of the street, I would have been able to go over across the field and see them as the carriage made that turn. So, but because I was on this side of the street, but I was kind of late. I was late. I got there just as the wedding started. Then we took that walk over to the procession route. And after the wedding ended, then everybody was waiting for the carriage to come by. So when people ask me, how did I get into everything with Harry and Meghan? When things started going terribly wrong, when the tabloid media, the leaks from the palace and everything, I felt robbed. Having gone through all I went through to be there, just by chance, of course. And I just felt connected to the Sussexes because this made me feel like I was part of the story. And I felt as though that there were some dark forces trying to take that joy away from me. And so I wanted to push back against that. And so that is why Royal Sussex came about, is because they tried to take something away, and I decided to push back on behalf of the Sussexes. I wanted to do something. I felt helpless, and the only thing that made sense was to be proactive and push back. So, and plus, I hate a bully. So I decided to push back. And that is why Royal Sussex is here. I found myself having discussions about the Sussexes with people who didn't know much about them and couldn't understand why I found them so important, so interesting. And so when you find a community of people that are like minded about a topic or subject or a movement that align with your values and your feelings, then you don't feel so lonely. You don't feel so isolated. So that is why the channel became so important to me, is because it's not like I was going to not feel what I was feeling. I just didn't have anyone to share it with. Yeah, the atmosphere was not the same. It wasn't the same. You didn't have as much excitement from the younger people, and especially the American expats and tourists and such. It was electric. The atmosphere was just electric. Now, the crowd, I forget how many they said it was, but this is a small town. It's not a very big place. So even though they have areas where they can accommodate big crowds of people, it's not like, central London, right? It's not like St. Paul's Cathedral. If they would have had the wedding in St. Paul's, that would have been, you know, they could have had more guests and everything, but um, they didn't want anything that was going to compete with the uh, Cambridge wedding. So that was, of course, out of the question. And plus, Harry and Meghan, they didn't want anything as lavish as that. They just wanted to get married. So that was more important. Yeah, Miss S says the media was brutal as soon as they found out Meghan had black blood. Weren't they, though? Very brutal. Yeah, quite brutal. Yeah, it was very interesting, though. It was, let me see, that was the 19th of May, and then June the 12th, they had the Troop in the Colors. So in between time, I went other places and did other things. I went to Highclere Castle, the real Downton Abbey, Castle Howard, Blenheim, um, let's see, Holyrood. Yeah, I made some rounds. I went to Birmingham, Liverpool, um, Manchester, Brighton. All this was on the same trip, by the way. Um, Cumlock, Scotland, for the Dumfries House, and Glasgow. Oh, and Bath. I went to Bath twice. I went to Bath twice. I went to Oxford and Cambridge. I was making the rounds. I had that rail pass and I took some excursion tours, but I went to Oxford and Cambridge. And I really loved Cambridge because they had a genuine Christopher Wren library, this famous Christopher Wren library, which when the lady told me, she's like, "Oh, if you want to see the library by Christopher Wren," but I said, "The Christopher Wren library? You should have saw the people standing around." I was like so excited, and of course, listening to that American accent, that African American accent, and me going on about Christopher Wren, I said, "That's the guy that designed St. Paul's Cathedral. He was so ahead of his time." And I'm getting all excited, and people were looking like, "How do you know about that?" So yeah, that was fun. What city? Uh, well, that was 2018. That was 2018. I'm trying to think, where else did I go? Seemed like I went someplace else. Brighton. Yeah, I went to that palace in Brighton. I went to that place. Oh, I went to York. York. Yeah, Castle Howard. I went to York, and from York I took a bus to Castle Howard. That was so cool. Castle Howard, the one from Bride's Head Revisited. You have this beautiful Renaissance castle, well, palace castle, that big dome and everything. Gorgeous, very cool. And I went to Bampton, which is the town that they use for Downton Abbey. Oh, Birmingham. Yes, 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 Birmingham. And you know what? I don't remember what I did in Birmingham. Let me see. I know I got photos. And since it was before the vacation season, I got a nice bargain on my hotel room. Oh, okay, okay, okay. Yeah, and I was right there by the Birmingham, what is that, rail station or whatever? It's got that like silver stainless steel top on it. Oh yeah, I was at the Comfort Inn. There's a bar downstairs that's called Station Bar. Yeah, I was by the Birmingham station. That was a nice room though. It had a bathtub. A lot of those hotels they don't have bathtubs, but this one had one. Yeah, that was May the 24th I was there. May the 24th. Some interesting architecture, I'll say that. And was this the Birmingham Cathedral? Is that the name of that building? Let me see. It's a church. It looks like a Christopher Wren church. Uh, Let me see here. Miss S, it just took a little planning, that's all. And the bulk of my life savings. Oh man, it was expensive. I got to tell you, it was very, very expensive. And people ask me again and again, how much did all that cost you? Oh, I had an iPhone 7. God, that was a while ago. I had an iPhone 7. Let me see. What is it? Oh, Birmingham. Yeah, it is Birmingham Cathedral. That's where I was. Yeah, I went inside the Birmingham Cathedral. Well, yeah, very interesting town. Let me see. Oh, yes. I'm looking. You know what? I'm looking at the photos again. I'm looking at the photos again. I went by the canals, right? Oh, and they got that bridge, that suspension bridge. Um, yeah, very cool. Very cool. Claire, I wish I could show you all the photos I'm looking at, but it'd take too long to share those. Oh, and there's a Piccadilly Basin. I took a picture of that archway at the Piccadilly Basin. You know where that is? I took a photo there. The Piccadilly Basin. Huh. Well, this is a nice trip down memory lane. I'm gonna have to do that one day. Just sit back and look at all my photos. That always makes me happy. I feel like I'm on the road again. Oh, and by the way, my avatar, well, my uh-oh, did I take myself out again? Let me do this. Um, this this photo, I took this photo in Birmingham. I was on the train either leaving or returning to Birmingham, and that's or was I in a coffee shop? But anyway, that is where I took that photo. uh, Let me see here. Oh, I tell you what, I'm gonna tell you exactly where I took that photo. I'm gonna see the location of it, see if I can find the location for it. But I'm pretty sure that I took that in Birmingham. No, you know what? I think I was in Manchester because I think I left from Birmingham and went to Manchester. So I want to say that photo was taken in Manchester. Acelia E. Nelson, good morning to you too. Desiree Dotson, I tell you, the rail pass, a lot of people don't rely on the trains, but the rail pass was my savior. I love taking the train. You can get on the train and go from like you could do two cities in one day. Let's say you get up early, right? and you just want to spend the day in Birmingham, and then you could get on the train, take the first train to Birmingham, and then spend your day there, and then get on the last train of the day and go to, say, Manchester, right? And then when you get off the train in Manchester, go find your hotel or whatever, and then the next day have a full day in Manchester, right? And and that way you can get two cities in one day. And if you have a 24-hour pass, you don't have to pay anything extra. You don't have to buy another ticket. You start your ticket after midnight, and you, long as you're on that train before midnight, you can just go to another city. But the trains are more expensive in the UK than any place else in Europe. I thought they were very expensive. But I'll tell you, the way I planned, I knew what cities I wanted to go to. And so I wrote down all the places that I wanted to go. And, some places I made sure I went. There was a couple places I wanted to see. I was unable to, but there was a few places that last minute I added those places, and it was spectacular. Like, for instance, two, I'm sorry, 3 weeks. I had scheduled myself 3 weeks on the Iberian Peninsula, right? So I left London. I spent the night in Paris, and then the next day I headed to Barcelona. I get to Barcelona, spent a couple days there, and then back on the train, headed to Madrid. On the way to Madrid, we passed through Zaragoza. And I'm like, Zaragoza? I think I saw that on TV. So I hopped back on the train after spending a couple days in Madrid. I went to Zaragoza, stayed there for a couple days, and then it was off to Portugal. So I went to Lisbon and Porto. And then after Lisbon and Porto, I went to Seville, where I have a friend that's there. Actually, more like family. I mean, they were so nice. So nice that I made sure that I stayed in the hotel for a couple nights before I even said I was in town, because I wanted to make sure I'd get all of my touring out of the way. And then I was like, guess what? I'm here. So my friend and his grandma, they put me up for a couple of days, and wow, that was nice. I mean, they went all out. They were very, very nice. Um, so I stayed in Seville for a couple of days. I took an excursion trip to Toledo, the Valley of the Fallen. I went to whatever that that palace where they have all of the Spanish royals buried. I forget the name of it, but I went there. But Toledo was really, really nice. Toledo doesn't look like it changed much in the past 400 years. Um, but yeah, so I went there. But Zaragoza is not one of the bigger tourist attractions, but it is really, really cool. Zaragoza is amazing. Plus, they have one of the largest churches in the world there. So that was interesting. But yeah, so I just had a general idea of where I wanted to go, and I gave myself 2 to 3 days here, 2 to 3 days there, and that's the way I managed it. And then there was a few overnight trains that I took, and so with the overnight train, you can take the train overnight, sleep on the way there, and then when you get there, you can find your hotel or a hostel. I checked in, left my bags, went back out, um, and then I came back when it was time to check in so I could shower and everything. So after I left um, Portugal, and no, after I left Seville, then I had to go back to Madrid for one more night, and then the next day I took that high-speed train back uh, west, no, east, because I had to meet someone in Germany. I had another friend in Germany. So I went to Munich. No, I went to Cologne. I wasn't even planning to go to Cologne. But one of the guys that I met at the hostel was from Cologne. And I said, well, I really did want to see that cathedral, like one of the tallest cathedrals in the world. So I went to Cologne. It exceeded my expectations. I loved Cologne. I went to Cologne, then I went to Munich, and then after Munich, I went to uh, Rome and Florence, or was it Florence and then Rome? Yeah, because I had never been to Rome or Florence. I had only ever been to Italy before. I mean, not to Italy, to Venice. So I wanted to go to Rome and Florence. I wish I would have spent more time in Florence. I only had one full day in Florence. Not nearly enough. Not nearly enough. And then after I left Florence, I took another train to, oh God, I don't remember the name of that town. I had like the whole day to lay over in that town, and I had never heard of it before. Let me see. I'll tell you the name of it right now. Let me see. Italy. Never heard of this town before. And you could tell that it was built by Mussolini. This town was financed by Mussolini because they had all of that fascist architecture. I loved it. What the hell is the name of that town? Huh. That is so weird. I don't see it. Let me see. Well, if that is Roma, Roma. Oh, Bolzano. Bolzano. I had never heard of Bolzano before, but I got to Bolzano and I had like, I don't know how many hours, but I wasn't able to leave Bolzano until after like 9 p.m. So I walked around Bolzano. I went to McDonald's in Bolzano's. Uh, oh, man. And so after I left Bolzano, then I connected through Switzerland. I went to Switzerland. I went past Lake Como. So I don't really count cities where I don't spend any time there. So going to a train station or airport, that doesn't count. But from what I could see of Lake Como, it was gorgeous. I would love to go back there and just stay at Lake Como. It looked like something out of a movie, a postcard. Yeah, so May 13th, I was in Bolzano. And then after Bolzano, I headed back to, I think maybe I went Rome, Bolzano, Florence, or vice versa, one or the other. And then after that, I had to spend a night in Paris again because I couldn't get that train back to the UK, the Eurostar, the channel, if you will. So I stayed in Paris another night, and then the next night back to London. So yeah. So yeah, I did a lot of traveling in it was 64 days, and I can't even count how many cities it was, but in 64 days I did a lot of day trips, excursions, as well as overnight stays. I even went to what is that place? Versailles. I had never been to Versailles before that trip. I think I had went to Paris like 3 times and had never gone to Versailles. So I had finally got a train to Versailles, and it was everything that I expected, and then some. Um, yeah, that was it. So all of those places that I mentioned in the UK, and then all the other places I mentioned, I squeezed a lot in 64 days. Scotland, England, Wales. Oh yeah, I went to Cardiff. I didn't mention that. I went to Cardiff. How did I forget Cardiff? Yeah, I went to Cardiff. Um, yeah. So Scotland, England, Wales, France, Spain, Portugal, Germany, and Italy. Yeah, I think all of it. Yeah, because I went to Munich and Cologne on that trip. So yeah. And I'd actually gone to, what's so funny is I went to Munich back in 1999, and here it was 2018, and I'm back in Munich. That was amazing. And 1999, I also went to Venice, and I went back to Venice in 2019. So it was like 20 years and some months, because when I went to Venice that time, it was January of 99. And I went back again in the summer, I think it's spring or summer of 2019. So it was nice to have that 20-year gap. Yeah. Oh, Italy is amazing, right? Italy is amazing. Yeah. Love, love, love Italy. But I got to go back to Florence because I didn't realize that Alessandro de Medici, the Black Prince, the Duke of Florence, I did not realize that he was buried across the street at the what is it? Whatever the name of that cathedral, chapel, whatever it is. I didn't know that it was right across the street from my hostel. And when I say across the street, I do mean directly across the street. I was probably sleeping 100, 200 feet away from Alessandro's grave and had no idea. He was actually buried with his uncle in this crypt in the whatever the name of that cathedral is. Had no idea that on the other side of that wall, Alessandro de Medici's earthly remains was that close. And I was being so frugal that when the lady offered to um, sell me the ticket to get into it, I was like, I feel so stupid now. I didn't realize until after I got home that I was right there. So I have to go back. I just have to go back. But I did go to the top of the dome of what do they call it? The Duomo, the Florence Cathedral. I went all the way up to the top of that dome, and that's the other reason why I have to go back to Florence, because somewhere in Florence at the um, cathedral, there's my behind is on the steps there somewhere. So if I ever want my butt back, I have to go back to Florence and look around and find my behind, because I promise you that walk that walk up to the top of that dome, it's like going on top of a 30-story building. It was hell, but I managed it. I managed it. Okay. Oh, I've been on for over 3 hours, you all. So I'm going to go. But thank you so much for listening to my tales of travel. It makes me feel like I was on the road again. Good night, Dansby. So anyway, love you guys. Thank you. I will see you all tomorrow. Good night to our queens. And of course, the last word of the day is keep on traveling. As Rick Steves would say, keep on traveling. Recollections may vary, no bad energy. And now let's end with Madam Duchess, shall we?